Okay. Hello, everyone. We are live here on the Higher Self Expo Facebook page and YouTube channel to present the co-hosts for the Europe stream of the upcoming Higher Self Expo 4th edition under the theme Where Science Meets Spirituality, in which we will be broadcasting for 24 hours straight, starting in the United States and then Australia and then Europe. So Rui Vasques, which is right here with me, and I, Tania Castillo, will be the co-hosts for Europe. Hi, Rui.
Hello.
So how does it feel to be a co-host for the Higher Self Expo?
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's my first apparition officially online. It's our first teamwork also. I'm very glad for the invitation and to be part of this amazing event and group of people. So thank you very much. I'm very grateful and willing to do my best and to learn the best from this conference.
Thank you. Me too. I'm also very grateful and also willing to learn and do my best for this conference. And it was a great honor and pleasure to have received the invitation from Zane Daniel, the creator of this conference, which started more or less a year ago. And as I said, is now to its 4th edition. And in July 17th and 18th, it will be going live once again. You can register at the Higher Self Expo page online on the website. And you can also view this event on the 17th and 18th July on this very same Facebook page, Higher Self Expo, or YouTube channel, Higher Self Expo. So Rui and I are also going to be speakers at the same event. So today we're just going to present ourselves briefly. Would you like to present yourself, Rui?
It's a pleasure. So my name is Rui Vasques. I'm from Portugal, born in Brazil, but officially grown in Portugal. And I'm a designer and a dreamer also, and an artist. Uh, Sorry, my phone is ringing. I'm a very busy person because I'm an entrepreneur. There's always people calling me. So I need to know how to organize myself and to put limits on and to choose the right project and to choose the right opportunities. I've been learning what is to be an entrepreneur and mainly social entrepreneurship because what I do is for to create a better world in what I believe to be the better world. So I'm a designer in my academic studies. I'm doing my PhD now, studying natural pigments, the colors of the earth, and how can we do things with them, with our association. Our organization is called Live with Earth because we believe we will only be part of this planet when we live with the earth and not by the earth as a humankind. So I'm researching since 2012 after my master's thesis in design, which I created an eco-village. It's called Eco-Village Community. It was an awarded thesis, and it's been a reference around creating awareness in many persons on how can we thrive on this planet, how can we live differently on this planet. And since then, I've been researching this model of sustainable social model and all these different technologies to do it in real life. So I've been studying permaculture design, eco-village and alternative economies, and social entrepreneurship.
Wonderful work you're doing, Rui, and really at these current times, that's what we need is more people with a vision of something completely different that can bring in a new way of being with each other and with Earth, not living from it, as you said so very, very well. Wonderful work. So the reason why I met you, or why I knew about your existence, was exactly because of that eco-village project that you built for your master's degree. And I saw you on a documentary, and then life just had a way of making someone who knew you come my way. And I'm very pleased to have met you, Rui, because what you're doing is really, really relevant. And it's a pleasure to also have you as a co-host here, and that you can share these projects, and that they can also be replicated and used to expand this new way of living and interacting in society, basically, that you are bringing to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that's where your science meets spirituality, right?
Yes, so in all this journey, it's many things have been happening in the way, and many signs of nature, of the universe, dreams, lucid dreams, and the many specific situations are bringing me signs in specific moments. So I'm continuing to discover myself and my gift as a designer and as a human being through this scientific research, through design and through what I've been researching about the problems worldwide and also the solutions. So spirituality as science is getting to know the unknown. So it's almost said inside or outside. So what I'm researching for the planet Earth is my own spirituality, because I'm discovering myself and what can I contribute and how can I be more integrated and useful for this planet and for the society. So as a design, as a tool, I will share this journey.
So your topic is design as a vehicle for spirituality. That is what you will be talking about during the expo.
Exactly.
Could you just develop just a little bit more about that?
So recently, as I was saying, design is the science I was studying between many different other topics and disciplines, but it's being the vehicle for discovering how can I contribute for a better world and also to discover myself and the act of creation.
Okay. Right. And so, and if people go to the Live with Earth website or contact you for anything, what is it that you specifically offer? What can people find through your association?
Okay. So we are developing the project since 2014. Officially, the association was founded in 2017. And so we are still building the project in our place. So it's always growing, but at the moment you can find our courses and events in our website, especially on natural building and permaculture, and also our vision, our mission, our documents for presenting ourselves, um, contact, newsletter. You can find information about it and how to collaborate with us also.
Could you give us one way of how people can collaborate with Live with Earth?
So what we've been doing is to organize work camps and natural building courses to create circular economy models. So we teach people and we help bring people together to build where everybody wins. The host, the participants, and our organization. Also, we've been doing some consultancy on this topic, natural building, ecovillages, permaculture design, and now more focused also on youth projects on European Union opportunities. So if you're a youngster and want to travel around Europe, volunteer or an exchange program, contact us. We have started many opportunities.
Oh, so what kind of opportunities are there for youngsters through your association?
Erasmus Plus, European projects, training
Mm,
courses, youth in action. Uh, we are collaborating with partners from different countries and
mm-hmm,
sending teams and also receiving groups. So we are starting to work more with youngsters because we believe
mm-hmm,
they are the near future and we
mm.
have an urgent problem to solve.
Yeah, in a sense, it's harder to change the ones that have created the problem, and it's
Exactly.
easier to inspire the ones that can eventually solve the problem.
Exactly. And they
Uh,
are ready to with
yes.
motivation, knowledge, and skills and energy.
So just as a final comment, usually we tend to because there's always been a generation gap, no matter how old we are, no matter what generation we're in, there's always a generation gap between the older people and the youngsters, and there's always this tendency to discount youngsters as being eventually not capable, or that things are really bad with youngsters. And so there's always these comments going on. It has been for sure with you when you were a youngster, and you would hear this from adults. It was the same with me, and now I hear the same about the youngsters today. What is your point of view?
Yes, because the grown-up are the ones who officially or logically know and obtain the power, let's say. But if they are open to learn with the youngsters, they will grow much more, and the
Mm,
world will evolve much more because the
mm-hmm,
structures need to change constantly, and many structures are stuck. And
mm,
and we have recent times with this huge tension between what is stuck, the oil industry and all the corporation models, free market, and what is needed to
mm-hmm.
overcome.
So
And
maybe the laziness is just because these youngsters are not willing to cooperate with what is stuck, but need also some help to see how they can do something new, and like with
exactly,
projects like yours. Mm,
it's very hard to go on the opposite direction of the current.
mm,
Um, so yes, the youngsters need opportunities and resources and faith and support
mm.
from the,
Encouragement.
exactly from doing what they believe they can bring better solutions and
Mhm.
better environment.
So, in a sense, basically, maybe that's where science will really meet spirituality after centuries in separation, because science became separate right from the beginning when it started appearing as an actual as an actual theme for society. So maybe that is the solution for science and spirituality to really meet.
And it's a good point of view.
Yeah.
Yes,
Let's see how things go. I'm sure we'll still be around for a while, hopefully, you and I here on earth, and we will be able to witness great change.
yes, we live in fantastic times. We are
Yes,
very lucky.
yes, yes. Okay,
So
so
what about you? Did you
so
want
my
to present
project.
yourself?
Right. Thank you very much, Rui. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation, for all that you have shared with us today. And I'm sure what you're going to share during the expo is going to be super interesting. And hopefully there will be more youngsters watching the expo than maybe other times. And this will also promote new inspiration,
I
hopefully.
hope. Yeah.
Yeah. So about me and my project, sometimes I have to pause before I answer what do you do, because it's more about what I am than actually what I do in my life nowadays. I choose to only do what really flows from my inner inspiration, and what really gives me joy, and that I can share with that joy. So I call my project InPassion Coaching, but it's not coaching in itself. It's called Isness Mentoring, which is a strange wording, but basically it just means creating a safe space for the reunion of human and divine. And in a sense, that is also bridging science and spirituality, because if we would see the divine as the spiritual side and the human as the scientific side, and now bringing mind and soul back together in cooperation, instead of there being this fictitious separation, because in fact the separation is just an illusion, but we live it as a very real thing. So what I do, oh boy. So what I do with Isness Mentoring is really providing that safe space for the reunion that is real, to be more and more real for each one, so that people can live the fulfilling life that they seek, if they want to, because of course we all have free will, and each one can choose to live all colors of experience here on earth, which is fantastic in all senses.
Yeah, super inspiring.
Yeah, the
Really
InPassion
inspiring.
is inspiring passion. Inspiring passion. That's what InPassion stands for.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so much important in the world we live today to create safe spaces for
Yeah.
communication, for expression, for interaction. It's more and more important.
It
So
is.
I'm very glad that you are doing that. It's really, really precious.
Thank you. Thank you, Rui. The idea is to create that, to remove that barrier, that people realize in their own life that when spirit comes together with human, life really becomes something completely out of anything we could have imagined without that component. But sometimes I don't even call it spirit, I call it intuition, or something more simple that is more tangible and easier to understand, because our intuition is basically our inner teacher, and our inner teacher is really spirit.
It is. It's another voice, almost.
Exactly. A very wise and very calm and serene voice, really, that never imposes itself on us.
Super interesting. There is the archetype of the generative adult pointing the north, which
Mm-hmm.
is the same, the wise voice, which
Yeah.
gives you the direction that you should.
Exactly, which gives you the
If,
direction. And if you're
even
willing to follow,
if you're
I'm
willing to
sure
follow.
you, Rui, in your life, you've had this experience over and over again. Whenever we follow that wise voice, it never, ever, ever leads us to something that is not fantastic, or that is not absolutely out of what we could have imagined if we were not following that voice.
That's totally true. And the challenge is really to just follow that voice.
Yes, to
Because all the
trust.
other monsters, they are blocking.
Yeah.
And what you'll be presenting is
So my presentation topic, I wrote the name down here so I don't forget. It's a living experiment of embodying isness. What does that mean? So I have decided to be myself, to be a living experiment. So, there are all of these beliefs that we have, that things have to be such and such way in order to work. And I have decided to challenge that, because that voice tells me other things that are not exactly what I learned has to be this and that way. And so constantly I have been challenging myself to go beyond what I think I know, and to realize that isness, which is basically that voice, which is basically my soul, my essence, knows much more than I can ever want to even understand. So why not just surrender and experience that experiment and be that experiment? So where this ties into where science meets spirituality is because in my background, I studied science communications, so communication sciences in English, and then I studied also health sciences because I was a fitness instructor for many years. And so I followed the rules. I followed the rules for health, but I wasn't healthy. And I followed the rules for nutrition, the rules for exercise, the rules for well-being, the rules for fulfillment, the rules for success. So I followed all the rules for communication, and they of course brought me some sort of success. I've always been a successful person in the normal sense of things, but they didn't bring me fulfillment. They didn't bring me what I really wanted. I always felt empty. I felt there was something missing. So then one fine day I decided to give up trying to do things by the book and to surrender to my essence and find out what things are when I'm not guided by all of these beliefs. So basically what I'm going to share is my journey of how knowing the science was important, but as in everything, there came a point where transcending it was even more important. So here, saying that what we know and what we learn is essential so that we can leave it and discover more. In all areas of life, I have discovered this as a living experiment for myself. So I can only share what I have experienced. It has, of course, taken a lot of courage to be out of the box in many, many ways. But once I assumed that as who I truly am, it is a joy to live like this. And actually, I do not find, as I thought I would, exclusion and rejection on the part of other people. So many people are afraid to assume to go that different way, that new way, that discovery way, because of maybe not being accepted or maybe not being spoken to or seen. And my life is actually quite different from that. I found even more acceptance and even more friends and even more pleasure by not doing things the way I thought was the right way, and learning that there is no right way, really. There's only the way that works right here and right now for me or for you or for each one. And then the sum total of that makes a whole cohesive structure that works in cooperation, basically. So when we cooperate with ourselves, we cooperate with each other, and then we cooperate with Earth, because we cannot not do that if we are in harmony. And it really changes everything. So that's what I'm going to share.
Very, very interesting. So, in terms of collective, do you think it's the same? There is no right society. It's a mix of all the and mindscape collective consciousness.
Could you please repeat your question, because I didn't understand the first few words?
Comparing to your individual experience, there is
Yes.
no right way to do things. Do you think in society is the same? That there is no way, no laws, no models, realities, or this anything?
I do believe it's like that, but that would be absolutely only possible. And that is only possible if each individual realizes that they are fully responsible for their choices, for their actions, for their words, for their thoughts, and therefore become cohesive in what they think, say, and do, and become transparent and become integral and come from integrity. So if each and every individual were to realize this responsibility, then yes, we could live in a sort of in a structure, yes, because there has to be some kind of a structure for the whole of society, for a community. There has to be some sort of a structure. It's essential. There have to be leaders, but the leaders are not the most important people or the people who have the power. The leaders are the empowerers. It's completely different from what we see. The leaders are the ones who inspire everyone to be in their power. So there have to be leaders, there have to be structures, but they are structures that flow like the water. Because if each one is living in a flow with a very specific purpose, a very specific intent in life, knowing where they're coming from and where they're going, if everyone knows why they're here, if everyone knows their overall mission and they are living that fully, then we are faced with a society of balance and harmony and love. So in that context, it would be possible, but that is utopian. That is not going to happen yet for many, I don't know, centuries. I have no idea. Anyway, so in this context that we are living now, there can be a different kind of structure than the one we have, where people are more respected, where people learn to respect themselves more as well, and where therefore each one takes more responsibility for their own actions, thoughts, words, and where therefore where the whole structure, where the whole community can respect a plan that is not hierarchical. So it does have a structure with leaders and other people that cooperate, etc., but it's not hierarchical. It's functional. It works together. It's just one whole where each one has their own function and will bring to the society they're living in their gifts. Not afraid of anyone taking anything from them, not afraid of not having, because we all have intrinsically everything we need. So it's a society built on love, not on fear.
It's basically the opposite of we are, as you're saying, people build and give the society they want, and not they receive a job or ways of doing things, or they create themselves more in their own power, as you say. It's very difficult to hear you.
So today, I believe we can start the change with each one of us, like you're doing, like we're all doing here on the expo, the people who will be presenting and many of the people who will be listening and all of that. It can be done. It can be done now, but only step by step, with no necessary expectations. Creating expectations creates obstacles, creates resistance, and makes things not work. So just being firm with what we know is true in our heart. And we know truth is love. So basically, to be that and to live that in whichever way we can.
Amazing. I wish and I dream, and I'm not the only one, as you say. And I always with a word in my mind which was predictable when you talk about transparency and integrity. But now I think it's different, because it's not about expectations of the same. It's about being transparent, integral, but still adapting to the challenges,
to what we're living,
to the unknown. Yes.
Exactly.
Not making so hard plans, and then you are stuck to the plan.
Exactly. So you flow with the circumstances, and you also attract the circumstances that flow with your consciousness. So wherever you are at in your consciousness, you will be providing that kind of reality to the rest of the world, from your own small sphere to larger spheres. So that's how we make the change. And that's what I basically share through my InPassion Coaching project with the compassionate breath, which is just the breath. It's really just coming back to the normal breath, the natural breath that we breathed when we were born as babies. And we were breathing deep down into our belly, breathing through the nose very naturally. And then somehow, of course, the fears come up, and we start breathing less and less, and we start contracting. So the breath, the compassionate breath, is really just coming into the natural breath and letting our body know that it's safe to be here, and letting ourselves know that within it's safe. And then, of course, finding that connection with our essence, and then which informs our heart, which informs our brain. So basically it's bringing the heart and brain coherence back into our lives with that ease and simplicity of the breath.
Back to the source.
Yeah, basically that's it. There's someone here. We've got a few comments here. So
okay.
So Katerina, thank you. Thank you very much, Katerina. So Katerina is also does the compassionate breath, and she has witnessed so many changes in her own life. And I am actually amazed at the changes I witness every single day. Thank you, Katerina. Thank you for sharing. And then we've got Dari Jordanova, just listening to Bruce Lipton about programming we receive as subconscious until the age of 7. And once people realize how it works, then the observed world becomes a teacher, and we can correct the programming. Exactly. We're not condemned. We are not condemned to stay in a world that we don't really believe in. We have the power to change at least the world we live in our sphere, and of course that replicates. It's unavoidable.
Really, really amazing. If you look to the universe, we have all the learning and information. So, to conclude, what can we find in your website? If you look for it?
So on my website, it's I've got a lot about the breath, the compassionate breath. As I said, I've got a series called Just Breathe, where each week I share wisdom around what we find through just breathing, through just coming within. And I have retreats. Also one of my main gifts is silence. So when you find that silence inside, it becomes an all-pervading thing, and so it's easy to share that silence, and people easily come into that silence when they are in your presence. So the mind just starts calming down, and so we provide retreats, individual retreats. I only work with 2, 3, 4 people at a time, so it's very personalized work to help integrate. So integration is what? Is realizing what are aspects of personality, what is the dark side within us, or so, meaning what is unloved, what parts of us are there in the background, which is in the unconscious mind more even than the subconscious, but of course the subconscious as well. What is there making noise, just calling for attention and love? And then inviting these back home to come forward, to release fear, to realize that there is really no dark side. It's just there saying, love me. That's all. So it's bringing the dark and the light back into one. So there is then no separation. there's no polarization anymore. It just is one whole, just like human and divine, basically the same thing. So integration of aspects is the core of my work.
Wow, that looks amazing.
Thank you.
Sounds amazing. And
So
I wish a good presentation and a good event for you. We will be presenting more guests, and
yeah,
it was a pleasure to share.
was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to share also, Rui. Thank you very much. We'll be back next week. You have 1 or 2 interviews next week, 2 interviews, I suppose. So please tune in. And now there are interviews going on all week with the US speakers, with the Australian speakers, and the Europe speakers. So tune in to the Higher Self Expo page and learn a little bit more about who is coming to share their experience, their expression, their inspiration, their wisdom during this Higher Self Expo where science meets spirituality. Thank
Oh
you,
yeah.
everyone, for being here.
Thank you
Thank you.
for
Thank
your
you
presence.
all.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.
You too. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to end the broadcast.